What we cooking today? We got briskets, you guessed it. We got 2 prime briskets here from US Foods here. We're gonna take these and cook these up. These are for a catering job, so I'm gonna show you the process I take when I'm doing the catering job for a large group of people. It's a very simple process, but I think if you use this recipe, you'll really appreciate it. So that being stated, let's get to prepping so we can get to cooking. All right, so I'm gonna trim this one first here. This is the smaller one of the 2. Kind of wanna go from this. From what I can tell right now going into it, it's got a pretty good thickness right here. It's actually pretty thick right here on that side. This side right here, it translates too. So that's gonna give you some pretty good slices through here. But when you pick out a brisket, you wanna take a brisket and pick it up and see how it folds right here. So what's holding it in place right now, if you see the tension, is this plastic right here, just the wrap. If I didn't have this on there, it would probably just fold down more. So we're gonna take this here, but when you choosing a brisket, look for something that's got a good bend to it and the plastic gets tight. That'll give you a good idea of how the tenderness of it is. Sounds crazy, but that's just a rule of thumb. It's the only thing you can tell. See what I'm talking about? See how much more it's folding down? I took it out the plastic, the vacuum seal wrap. So now take your brisket right here and put your finger and kind of poke into it. You feel how soft it is? Now you feel right here in this fat, feel how hard that fat is? This fat here is not gonna render out. You may put this in the pot and make tallow out of it, but for the most part, this is not gonna render out too well. We're gonna go ahead and take it and start cutting that off. I'm gonna just take my knife and come down here. You see it right here, a little bit separating that point from that flat. This one's to go up underneath this flat all the way down to the other side right here. So we're not going necessarily, I'm just going to kind of curve this off so the smoke rolls through it very well. That's kind of what we're looking for there. And give me a little bit more of a rounded edge to it. Then I'm going to come on the other side right here. Do the same thing right here, kind of cut it out. Now I'm going to flip it over and see what it looks like on the other side. So I'm doing this here, I want to have some fat on there. I want to try that about a 1/4 inch fat. We don't have that here. You can see the meat through this right here. So right in here, we're not going to have that fat to protect right here. But this side right here, we can kind of get rid of some of this. Right here again, that hard fat, I want to get rid of that. All right, so now I'm going to come around this side right here. I'm going to get this freezer burn section. Right in here, I'll take my knife and just go down the side and just cut it off straight down. So now what I'm looking for is kind of, we got a little piece of thin right here. We get really thin right in this area. We got a little point right here. I'm gonna take this right here number and just kind of just round it off a little bit. What I'm doing that for is because if I don't, it'll curl up on us. When I'm cooking, it'll kind of curl up and it'll start scorching a little more. So I'm just gonna kind of round it off a little bit. So as you can see, we got our briskets all trimmed up. They're ready for the season here. We're cooking these days on the Recteq 1250 at 250 degrees. We'll cook them to get an internal temperature around 170 degrees, and then we'll wrap them up in butcher's paper. The rubs we're using today is OBQ's Texas Brisket Rub and Rufus Teague Steak Rub. It's a good combination. It's got a really bold, beefy Texas flavor, and the steak's kind of give you that steak, garlicky, salt flavor tied to it. Really good mix between the two. So we're gonna season these bad boys up. Start with them, use this one. I'm gonna hit the edges first. Same thing to the other one. Come across the top of it with this one. This is a bigger flake rub. This one's not gonna go on the side very well. This one will fall down. It won't necessarily adhere to it, especially when I put this other rub on top of it. But the first rub's gonna adhere to it better than the second rub. Looks good to me. Looks good to you? All right, my Recteq 1250 here is up temperature at 250 degrees. Let's go ahead and put these bad boys on the grill. Let's get this party started. I put these on the grill. I'm gonna put this to this fat cap right here. The point is gonna be angled towards the smokestack. Okay, so we got both briskets on Recteq 1250 here. We just put them on here. About another 30 minutes or so, I'm gonna start checking it. Once I start seeing when that rub is really creating kind of adhering to the meat really good, start creating a bark, and I'm gonna start spritzing this. I'm gonna spritz with apple cider vinegar. What this does allows that bark to stay moist and kind of calm it down while it's cooking, and then allows the heat of the rest of the brisket to keep cooking. And because we cook it with the flat down, all that fat from that point is going to soak through that flat and come out the bottom of the grill. One other benefits to this is, by doing this here, we're going to allow that outside to stay moist. And smoke is attracted to the moisture. Therefore, it's going to kind of give us a really good smoky, deep, smoky flavor bark. That's what we're looking for. So it's been about 8 hours in there. So I'm going to take the camera on and I'm going to show you the final look we got right now. Then we'll pull them out. We're going to start wrapping them. As you can see, when they start pooling right here with a little bit of moisture in there, that's when you know it's about time to start wrapping there, because it's pushing the moisture out of that flat on the outside of it. But you can see right in here, see the good bark in there? It's really nice and soft. Let's get these bad boys ready to wrap. As you can see, we kind of lapped over about a good 6 inches right here. Now I put my brisket in here, it can kind of have something other good to fold into it. So I'm gonna take this here apple cider vinegar I've got right here. I'm just gonna put some on the outside of the paper right here, where the brisket's gonna sit at. Underneath a little bit, let me add a little adhesive to it. Take it, set it up there. So I'm gonna roll over. Now I've got them in there. I've got the meat stick in there for the idea to give me an idea of temperature. But one thing with brisket, other than any other piece of meat out there, you do not cook by temperature. What I use the temperature is saying, okay, it's time to start paying attention to it. When I start hitting 208, I'm gonna start really paying close attention to that brisket so I can get that feel that I'm looking for. When I take my probe and go through it, I want it to feel like going through room temperature butter. That's what I'm looking for. But that's the whole process we're going through whenever I'm doing the brisket. So my probe in there is not to give me the doneness to pull it off, it's just saying, hey, we're there. You need to start paying attention to me. That's the only reason I use a probe for any kind of brisket. I expect this to take about another 2 hours. We're running right now around 160 degrees. So I'm gonna expect about 208, so I'm probably 2 to 3 hours. We'll keep checking it, but I'll keep you updated. Back in a few minutes. Hey, welcome back. Here, we've been cooking for 11 hours and 23 minutes. 2 briskets on the Recteq. We're gonna pull these bad boys out. Let's see what they feel like. We've got one right now, the small one. This saying it's running about 212. I done a probe on it earlier. It's still a little tight here about 30 minutes ago, but it's jumped up pretty good. So I think it's how I went through that stall and it's kind of just peaking right now. So we're gonna pull it out and check it out. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna come right here, I'm gonna pull the meat probe out. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna flip it over a little bit. You can see the moisture all in this paper right here. By doing that double wrap paper, it kind of protects it a little more. So now I'm gonna fold it over, open it up a little bit, and feel how there's moisture. I can take my hand and put it underneath here and squeeze on it right there. I can tell it's real nice and tender. Right here is a little bit tight down here on the end where the flat's at. Right here in the middle of it is really nice and tender. Yeah, there's good. I'm gonna flip it over and put the fat cap down. Wrap this here back up. We're gonna let this rest. We're gonna put it in the warmer, wrap it up in tinfoil right now, and put it in the camera and let it calm down a little while. Then wrap it a little tighter, and we're gonna put it in the warmer overnight. Kind of let it rest about 150 degrees. I'm gonna try to tighten up now so I don't lose none of this moisture. Trying to keep it going. This one here is ready. This here looks good. Hey, welcome back. So we just took the brisket out to rest. So it's been in the hot box for 12 hours. So the brisket had a total cook time of about 24 hours, the whole process. We're ready to slice this bad boys up, see what it tastes like. So that being stated, let's get started. It's really got a really nice bark on it. Put this here on the cutting board. Come right down the middle of it right here and cut it in half. Right here where the point separates from the flat, I'm gonna slice it right down the middle. You see it right here. You see good little smoke rings on there. The bark is nice and set. There's gonna be good. Let's taste it. Let's see what it tastes like. I tell you, man, this here is looking like it's gonna be a champion right here, don't it? What you look at that? See it right there? That's when you got a tender brisket. You can do that little bouncy like that. That thing right there is something else tender. Let's see what it tastes like. The fat came away with it. Look at this. Oh my Lord. The flavor's there, man. It's really deep into it. You can see it's just pulling apart. It's tender, but it's not too tender. It's juicy, it's moist. That is how you want to cook a brisket. Cook a brisket like this every day of the week, I promise you, everybody will be happy for you. You cannot go wrong this way. Take this recipes, take these techniques we're showing you and use this at home. You're doing a catering gig, use this technique. I promise you, you will not be dissatisfied with it. The flavors are just going to come out of it and it's just going to be like, wow. Awesome bark you got onto it. There's how you cook a brisket, leave barbecue smoker style right there. That being stated, get ready to take this and carry it inside, get it in here set up for the catering job. So we're going to do that. We're going to still bless it, but first we're going to let Dolly try it. Dolly, are you ready? Come on. You ready for this? All right, come on. If Dolly liked it, I reckon Dolly like it, he will too. When I say the blessing, let's go inside. We're going to eat some of this though. So let's say the blessing. Lord, bless food by receive. In Jesus' name pray. Amen. Hey, real quick before you leave, do me a favor here. Hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Also, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Because we really appreciate that. If you got any questions, comments, leave in the comment section down below. We'd love to hear back from you. Now, if we go inside, you're at a catering job, make me a sandwich. So, see you next time. Keep smoking.